Today we'll be talking about financial blocks, how to remove them, what are they, and how to move beyond them, how to raise your frequency and introduce yourself to a new state of being where you don't go just at your job and be there because you think you have to be there, but be there because you want to learn, because you want to be the best version of yourself. When you're of service, when you're doing your thing, whatever it is, you do it with enthusiasm, you do it with love, you do it with a new energy. That's how you remove the old blocks. And it shifts you. It shifts you mentally, it shifts you emotionally, and it shifts you energetically, because suddenly you become more open to receive. Suddenly you become more open to that fluid energy that moves through you, that gives life to everything. So before we begin, I want to remind you to be aware that before the end of December, you will manifest a breakthrough that will completely change your life. Are you ready for that? Hit the like button, my friend, and subscribe to this channel. And before we move on, I want to invite you into a giveaway we are running on our Instagram page, I Draw My Passion, where you can win a free print of the painting, The Spirit Guide. So go there, check it out. Also check out our Instagram page, Attract Passion, where I'm sharing with you daily messages, daily reminders, just to start your day, to elevate your spirit a little bit. So check it out, give me a follow, write me a message if you have anything to share. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community. Thank you so much. So what are money blocks? Money blocks are these behaving patterns that are holding us back in scarcity, in fear, in procrastination, in sabotaging, in believing that how life is happening is not fair, that we're not good enough, that we're not worthy of more or of greater abundance, that we're too tired, that we don't know how to treat money, and so on. So those are the blocks that are holding us back. And if we want to shift them, overcome them, to remove them, we need to notice where we are clinging to security. What is that security mindset that is holding us back? If we're afraid of failing, or we may recognize no one in our family has succeeded at anything, or you've been neglected, or you think everyone is smarter than you, then most probably you have this security attitude that all you deserve is just as little as you can get so you can survive. That's all you can. For example, if you hesitate to pursue a new career path due to fear of failure, ask yourself if the concern is based on actual evidence of your abilities, or if it stems from a limiting belief about your capabilities. If you actually challenge whether the fear is grounded in realistic risks, or if it's holding you back from potential growth and success, you will notice that most of this scarcity and fear comes from your belief system. It's not actually real. So money is a fluid force that constantly flows around us. It's manifested in what we perceive as money, but it's rather a fluid force that works as an exchanging mechanism. It's being exchanged through our attitude. Those who have more exciting, passionate, creative attitude usually make more money. Why? Because they know how to communicate, they know how to sell, they know how to end a deal, they know how to market their work, their product, they know how to talk to people, they know how to connect to them emotionally. And more than anything, they're aware of a problem they are solving. And people who are not good at that are not aware of the problems they could solve. They're only aware of their problems, but they never focus on the solutions. They're only aware of what is missing but they never focus on how to fulfill it. They're only aware of what is bad, but never how to improve it. So you need to recognize that you're here to make a change, not to be a burden. You're here to bring a solution to the world that can only happen through you. And I know it may sound complicated for those of you who may find yourself being in a certain limited situation when it comes to money, but it's really a thing that's connected to our imagination. How much you believe that you can expand yourself? How much do you believe that you can use your ideas to make something out of them? Because when it comes to your ideas, you can do magic with them. And ideas are like seeds, you know? It's what you plant in your mind. That's how your future will turn out. Not just because you think more positively or whatever. It's because your thoughts will reflect in your behaviors. And when you recognize that with a mental attitude you're not changing this present moment, you're altering your future, you will recognize that if your life is not where you would like it to be, it's time to study maybe people who are where you want to be. And each of us can find someone who's a great example. And it doesn't need to be a financial thing. Maybe it's a spiritual thing. Maybe it's an emotional thing. Maybe it's just someone who's a great example of who you are intending to become. Not to copy that person, but to see that person as an example. Sure, you will do it. You will do your own thing in your own way. But to remove financial blocks, you firstly need to become aware what emotion comes up when you think about money. What emotion comes up, so you recognize what's holding you back. Once we identify an emotion, we can recognize what kind of energy has been stuck within our nervous system. Sure, if you're constantly without it, you will feel fear, you will feel anger, you will feel unworthiness, but how frequently you feel it? And what's the mechanism, the coping mechanism you use when you feel it? That's how you will notice the escaping mechanism from a problem. That's why you're not solving it, you're escaping from it. That's the biggest difference between wealthy people and poor people. Wealthy people dive into a problem, they feel it, they reflect on it, and they come up with ideas that could resolve it. Wealthy people often say that it's better to have 20 bad ideas than one good idea. Because out of 20 bad ideas, one will turn into a good idea. But if you only have one good idea and it will fail, you will feel like a failure. So think about how many options you actually have right now. You may be broke, you may be a homeless man or woman. I've actually received so many messages from people who were homeless and they've started their own businesses and they're thriving. In the recent years, we've received so many stories of transformations that you truly can't believe that change is not possible. But sure, when we are in a situation where we feel like change is not possible, we feel like we are the only ones, and those who changed are more talented or wiser or whatever. But the truth is, it's all about choices, and choices come out of our intellectual capacity. If we intend to expand our knowledge, we'll expand our actions. We'll take new action because we'll notice that we can do it. That it's all about knowing better, right? But you can't do it if you don't have any goals with it. So what are your financial goals? If you don't have financial goals, you will stay in a familiar circle. You will do what you're doing and you will stay where you are. So we have to have certain financial goals. It's same as having emotional goals, like I want to feel more freedom, I want to feel more joy, I want to feel more bliss in my life. Or when we have goals for traveling, I want to go to that country and there, and I want to move to this place and whatever. Have some financial goals as well. Like when I've started selling my art, and I've asked each painting, what's your price? as soon as the number came to me, I wrote it down. That became my goal. My goal became, I will sell this painting for this price. That's its worth. And once I've started reaching these goals, I've set bigger goals. So we need to have these goals, firstly, to play a little bit with possibilities, and secondly, to motivate ourselves to look for something bigger, to something brighter. Not for egoistic reasons, but to level up ourselves from this rat race that we've been programmed and hypnotized to live in. So you're leveling up yourself out of this limiting programming that was projected onto you, that you don't deserve more, that money is bad. There's a saying that money doesn't make you bad or whatever. Money just exposes you. So if you're a good person, I know you will do something good with it. I have so many great goals right now for the future projects. I want to help other artists, and we can't do it without money. We can't start education programs and whatever kind of a help without it. So we first need to have certain goals, so then we can initiate them. So have some of those goals and you will easily remove your blocks. That's when you can say, my blocks are removed because now I have a clear focus. Then the next thing you need to know is what kind of actions you will take to improve your financial situation. So if you find yourself not liking how your financial situation is, you need to identify what can you do right now. Can you go on a workshop? Can you find someone who's rich, somewhere near to you, and can you interview them? Can you talk with them? Can you study them, learn from them? It's a really great option because you can ask them what they would do if they would be in your situation. When I'm talking with entrepreneurs, I always ask them how they've started, just to see if there's something new I can learn from them. Sometimes, if we can talk with someone who's really somewhere where we would like to be, we can just ask them how they came to that position, how they evolved to such a degree personally, mentally, what's their mindset, what are their habits in a day, how they're keeping up with discipline, what they do when they feel tired and exhausted and depressed and sad, or when they get criticized, or when something bad happens, what they do, how they treat these situations. And if you ask yourself, what are your coping mechanisms when you find yourself in worry because your plans are not working out, you can then set these questions to those people. If you can't find those kind of people, find books that those kind of people wrote, and you will recognize that there's so much you can learn. I want to give you that because it's sad for me to see so many people living in poverty. But I always say that the poverty begins in the mind. Poverty is real, but it begins in the mind. Sure, we've been educated into it, or brainwashed into it, or raised into it, but we don't need to stay there. My friend, you don't need to stay there. If you learn some financial education about budgeting, for example, like what's your budget for life, how much you're capable of spending so you can save a little bit as well, and even use some for investment for the future. Now everything you do today is an investment into the future. So if you're constantly overspending, what you're doing, you're causing a minus whatever in the future. You want to build up the future, not make it even poorer, right? So learn a little bit about budgeting, creating some detailed budget to track income and expenses. It will help you so much to identify areas for potential savings and investments. Then you also need to have some emergency fund. You need to know that sometimes, things may get broken. So you need to have something aside, right? It will help you to let go of the fear in case if something goes wrong. It will help you to feel much more free, so then you can focus on your dreams and goals. If you don't have that, you will always feel this kind of fear in the back of your mind. And I just want to remind you to always keep something aside. When I was beginning on my journey, I received a book from a friend of mine, The Richest Man in Babylon. A really great book. I would recommend everyone to read it. There's a concept of putting aside 10% of your income and then you forget about it. You put it aside and you forget about it. In 1 year, you will see that you've actually made some money there. In 10 years, maybe you will not be able to believe how much is there. And then you can use it for investment, you can partially use it for investment, you can use it for emergency in case if it's necessary. It helped me often to invest into something that, sometimes at the beginning I bought something for a low price and sell it for a higher price just to make some extra money, so then I could invest it into painting material. At the beginning I've started from nothing, so we need to play a little bit, right? We need to experiment. And I think experimenting is always rewarded by life, because that's what opens us up to new possibilities, to new opportunities. We've been so trained to live in a certain narrow perspective that only when we start experimenting with new ideas, we actually open ourselves up to new possibilities. Then if you have some debt, learn to manage it. Learn how you will pay it off eventually. You have to think around it. You have to plan around it, because all these things are causing fear in many people. And it's hard, many people have these debts and they're always without it, and then they try to visualize to make more of it. One thing sure is to change our mental attitude, but the second thing is to actually do something about our present financial state. So don't put it aside, my friend. Buy some financial books and read them. It will help you to change your outlook on it. It will help you to learn that maybe you will get new ideas there. New ideas that can help you to sell whatever you're doing in new ways. Like when I've started painting, firstly I thought that the only way to make money with art is to sell original paintings, but not many people are actually willing to buy original paintings, especially if you set a bit higher prices, because they're worthy of that. But then as I was studying options, I've recognized there's almost infinite ways to make money with art. We just need to try them out. And I think in any field it's like that. If you ask yourself, what is the problem that nobody has solved yet? Come up with a solution and you will experience a breakthrough in business that will be bigger than anything you've received. That will be a big deal for you. That's how you remove financial blocks, my friends. So if you're constantly saying, I will start on Monday, I will start on 1st of January, I will start next week, it comes from a block that you have within. It's a certain mechanism that just leads you to more procrastination. That's not what you should do. If you start right now, it doesn't matter where you are, write down on a piece of paper, write down what you will do, what are your goals, where you will start, where you want to become good at, what are the problems you're solving. You will come much further than just saying I will start on Monday. So make sure that your financial situation becomes your responsibility, and that you set some goals that will inspire you, that will be so high that they will scare you a little bit, but they will inspire you. Because you imagine, how would it be if you would reach them? How would you feel if you would have it? You will recognize the feeling is different than you feel when you don't have it. And that feeling will free you if you learn to maintain it through the day. If you learn to stay true to your actions. If you create more and think less, it will remind you that you're here after all a creator. And those who focus more on serving, on creating, on giving, on doing, and less on thinking and the feedback they are receiving, they actually receive more feedback and more rewards for their work because their focus is on giving, not on receiving. So just reflect on these thoughts a little bit and you will easily remove your financial blocks. Suddenly, you will recognize that you are thriving and know that all of that is an investment into your future. So my friends, I hope you found something valuable today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Stay beautiful, stay magnificent, and once again, don't forget to check out our giveaway on Instagram. I Draw My Passion. Follow us also on Attract Passion, Instagram, Facebook, and Patreon. Check it out. And we are running a super sale, 25 off on all of my art until the end of December. So check out our Etsy store, I Draw My Passion. Check it out. And till next time, one love.